Alright, how's everybody doing? Now that we know the NBA playoffs have been fully revealed, we know the Pelicans and the Heat are going to get the 8th seed. Even though they're without some of their best players, they're going to be able to make the playoffs and maybe make a little bit of noise in the first round against some 1 seeds. But today, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about ranking the top 8 series and some of the keys for each series. So if you like this video, make sure you click subscribe, like, and comment down below your rankings. So let's just get right into it. At number 8, I have the Celtics and the Heat. Now, every year that these teams have played each other in the playoffs, they have went to the finals. Let's look at it. Since 2020, it was a Heat-Celtics Eastern Conference Finals. Heat won that series. They went to the finals and lost. 2021, they didn't play each other. 2022, they played each other in the conference finals, and the Celtics won and then lost in the finals. And then last year, again in Eastern Conference Finals, where the Heat went up 3-0, the Celtics came back to Game 7 just to lose to the Heat. They also went to the finals and lost. So this series could make the finals loser, statistically, if you look at it when they play each other. But the real keys for this series are, what are the Heat going to do without Jimmy Butler? Tyler Hero stepped up last night. It was amazing. But are they going to be able to do that consistently? I just don't know if they're going to be able to stop. Like, can Tyler Hero play that way every single game? Now, if he does, we could be seeing a 6-game series on our hands because we know how this Heat team can play in the playoffs. It's not just playoff Jimmy. Erik Spoelstra is a fantastic playoff coach, and he's going to be able to get it done when it matters most. But if he doesn't have the guys, he's not going to be able to Greg Popovich it and just make talent appear out of thin air. But he's got Bam, he's got Tyler Hero, they got Terry Rozier. They've got some new pieces to a team that went to the finals last year and honestly made the East look pretty weak. But can you slow down a 60-win Celtics team that has one of the best net ratings of all time and is one of the best teams of all time? I just don't see it happening. The Celtics are a little bit too advanced for them. I mean, let's just check out their net rating. And here, as you can see, this is one of the best net-rated teams of all time. These guys are absolutely loaded, and the Heat almost stand no chance against them unless Erik Spoelstra can do it and Jimmy can maybe come back at the end of this series and start something. It's just probably not going to happen. This is why it's the 8th seed, because I just don't see an upset happening here. You can already see what's going to happen. It feels like the 2018 Warriors and Cavs getting to the finals. Like, you just already know what's going to happen. All right, at number 7, I think we have the 2 youngest teams in the playoffs this year. On one hand, you got the Thunder. I believe they're the youngest, and the Pelicans, who already have a little playoff experience, but they're without Zion Williamson. But is it going to be no Zion, no problem, or no Zion, no winning? I don't know. I looked on StatMuse. As you can see, I'm going to put it on the screen there. 43 and 43 since February 22. And that is when they traded for CJ McCollum. Now, this is without Zion, obviously. And, well, that's not the greatest record. That's still a playoff team, and that's still an 8 seed. So if we're looking at it from that perspective, are they going to be able to beat the Thunder, who won, I believe, 57 games this year? Are they going to be able to beat these guys? I don't know. They're 43 and 43. That's not a bad record without your best player. Maybe Zion can come back. It looks unlikely. But this Thunder team is very good. They're very young. They're very unexperienced. I mean, the most playoff experience they have is Lou Dort and SGA, I'm pretty sure. I can't think of a guy on their bench who they're actually going to give minutes that's played in the playoffs. I mean, I love Isaiah Joe. He's got no playoff experience. I don't know if Poku's going to play. He probably won't. They got the Jalen Williams. They got the other Williams, Kendrick, Kenrich. Oh, my. They got a lot of different guys who haven't played in the playoffs who are very young and very good. You got Chet and J-Dub, who are going to be amazing this series, because without Zion, who's going to push Chet around? I mean, Zion would have absolutely taken that matchup, and I think Valanciunas might have tried and guard J-Dub, but I just don't think he would have had the speed. So I'm kind of sad we don't get to see a J-Dub-Zion matchup, because they're both kind of play like each other, but J-Dub's more of a, he can shoot. Zion, it would just be a fun matchup to watch, because they're both like, they're kind of fast, and I don't know, they just have similar athleticism. I don't want to say, because Zion really doesn't have that anymore, but they got something, you know what I mean. Okay, the Thunder, they're young, and SGA, is he going to be able to lead this young team as probably the team captain? I know they have Gordon Hayward's their guy with playoff experience. I knew they had somebody. Gordon Hayward is that old guy that's going to need to lead them. And does he replace Josh Giddey in that starting lineup? Because Josh Giddey hasn't been playing too good since these allegations have been thrown at him. So are they just going to take Josh Giddey out of the equation? I don't know. I mean, he would be a bad sixth man. And then they still got Isaiah Joe on the bench. And it's like, you got too many guys who are pretty much just alike. SGA is going to need to really step up if he wants to see his team succeed this year in the playoffs. So is Chet. I know he's just a rookie, but come on. He had that year of sitting out. He had that year of sitting out because of that, whatever it was called, Drew League injury. And now he's back, and he's really got to show who he is to the NBA, because without Chet, they're probably not even in this position. Without Chet, they're maybe back. Okay, they're probably not they might be a play-in team without Chet, because we saw it last year. They're probably a 46 to 50 win team without Chet. So that's going to put you in the play-in to 6 seed range. Overall, though, probably the leading thing that's going to matter most in this series is Shai's performance. If Shai doesn't play the way he did in the regular season, then it's wraps, and the Pelicans are probably going to push this series to at least 6 or 7 games. But the Thunder probably should have this under wraps without Zion. Without Zion, it shouldn't be much of a series, and the Pelicans should go home early in 5. All right, now we got a series that I think is going to be an absolute movie. Anthony Edwards, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant. Oh, don't even get me started with Cat. And that's going to be one of our discussions, because who's guarding him? But let's get to that in a minute. Let's just talk about the fact that Rudy Gobert is going to be useless this series. Useless. He is a guy who can't play anything outside the interior, and with Phoenix not having any slashers, I mean, Bradley Beal, I don't consider him a slasher. I think, especially with the way he's been playing recently, he's going to stick to more of the perimeter mid-range game, just like Book and KD do. And then, okay, Royce O'Neal's their biggest slasher, but like, is he a game changer for them? Grayson Allen, obviously, perimeter player. Nurkic, who they don't, he's just a put back menace. It doesn't matter, because he's just a merchant of putting back shots and getting offensive rebounds. It doesn't matter what he's going to do, because, I mean, I almost want to put him on Cat and then put KD on Gobert, because then you can just... It's not a good idea. It's not a good idea, but whatever. There's the fact that they don't have any big slashers on this Phoenix team worries me about Timberwolves' chances, which is why I think they're going to win this series in 5 games. I think Phoenix is going to make it look like they're nothing. They're playing a college basketball team like they're playing UConn. But I really do think that Phoenix is going to take this series because of the slashing problems. That you're going to make Rudy Gobert's defense pretty much not matter. And they're one of the best defensive teams in the league, if not the best. So taking away that, I mean, Ant versus Book, I'm taking Book over Ant's defense, and I'm going to take Ant over Book's defense, so whatever. Ant playoff series, can he win one? They're at home. We've seen them. 7 seed versus 2 seeded Grizzlies. Went to 7, they lost. Then last year we saw them lose to the Nuggets, and I believe 5. So we've seen them in the playoffs before for 2 years in a row now. They've lost in the first round, and I think it's going to happen again. So if he loses 3 years in a row in the first round, he honestly should be getting Embiid comparisons. People should be hating on his playoff abilities, but if he's able to win, all that's going to go away. Especially because he's a higher seed. You're expected to win this series. I know you're not the more like experienced team because they have KD, but really this Suns team, rather than Devin Booker, hasn't done much because he was there for that finals run. The rest of the guys, Nurkic, first round exits every year to Golden State with the Trailblazers. Grayson Allen, I don't think he was there the year the Bucks won the championship, but he might have been. Oh, how do I not know this? I'm a Bucks fan. I don't think he was there. I think he was there the last 2 seasons. And then Royce O'Neal, obviously nothing. Bradley Beal, obviously, like I think the second round was the furthest the Wizards ever made it with John Wall, Otto Porter, and him. That was actually a pretty good trio. I like those. I like those days in Wizard land, but not a lot of experience rather than Book and KD. So the Timberwolves really shouldn't be using experience as an excuse because they have Cat Gobert. I know Ant really doesn't count, but come on. They have the same level of experience rather if you take those 2 guys out of the equation. And now to the make or break part of this series. Who is guarding Karl Anthony Towns? And I'm going to need to look up 6'8" and above guys on the Phoenix Suns. Nurkic, they might be playing Drew Eubanks a lot. He could get the job done. David Roddy, I mean, let's stop hating on Roddy, man. He was a beast at Colorado State. Eric Gordon's definitely going to get some minutes. I feel like Nazir Little should get some minutes, but he's definitely too small. You're not going to play Udoka Chesbuk because he's not really good at basketball in the NBA. Thaddeus Young's just there for vibes. KD. Oh, this is just a bad situation. Frank Vogel, what are you gonna do, bro? I'm cheering for them to win this series almost. I kind of want to see Ant because I love Ant, but I kind of am cheering because I like the Suns because of what they did in 2021 when they played the Bucks in the finals. I want them to win, but like KD is probably your best option. Nazir Little, KD, Drew Eubanks, Bol. That is all you got. Bol is probably gonna get some decent minutes. Drew Eubanks has been playing like 30 minutes a game. Suns fans are mad about that, and I understand why, because he's been playing like Klay Thompson against the Kings. You got those two guys, and you got KD who you're gonna play, but I don't think that's a great matchup. I don't really think that's a great matchup. I'm not gonna sit here and complain about Kevin Durant's defense because it's serviceable, but it's no pre-Achilles injury. And then let's talk about who is the other guy I had on here that I was like, oh, he might be able to do some damage. I think it was, who was it? Nazir Little, who is probably not going to play that much. So I bet your best bet is, okay, so you're going to go booking Beal, obviously, in the front court. Then you're going to need Kevin. Nurkic is still a good player. And then you could probably go Eubanks and then have Allen off the bench, Bol, Nazir Little, Eric Gordon, David Roddy is probably your rotation, I would think, right? You're probably not going to play Isaiah Thomas because he's 5 foot. Okay. Why are they just capping in his thing and saying he's 5'10"? I know that guy's like 5'8", 5'9" at best. At best, okay? So it's going to be a toss-up between who's going to guard him. I'm excited. I think they play at 2:30. So they're probably playing when you're watching this video, but I'm recording this, obviously, ahead of time, so I haven't seen what it looks like yet. But it's going to be a good series. All right, another good series. A rematch of last year's Western Conference Finals. At my number 5 spot, we have the Los Angeles Lakers and the Denver Nuggets. I worry for LeBron and AD and all those other old guys because there's a lot of them. They're the oldest team in the NBA, the only team that has an average age above the age of 30. It's not good. It's not good. They got to play a mile up in the air, and that means you're not going to be able to breathe as well, obviously. So I'm worrying about that with these older guys. They're not young guys who are quite as fit. I know LeBron. You're probably not happy about me saying that, but you're almost 40. And then you got AD, who I think is 32. D'Lo is probably one of those guys that's not going to be slowing down too much. I mean, if you play Taurean Prince, it's over, honestly. And then, yeah, there's just some other guys on this team who I worry about since the average age is just so high and you're playing up there. But let's look at the series last year. Nuggets swept the Lakers in some pretty decent games. Jokic and Jamal Murray was playing out of his mind. Like, Jamal Murray will not be playing this well in the playoffs. That's why I have him so low. If he plays that well in the playoffs, he can move up maybe into my top 30 players. And him and Jokic can move up to my best duo. But for now, they're staying where they're at until they win back-to-back championships. This series is going to be a good one because I think it's going to be an exact repeat of last year. I know my King James is not going to be happy about me saying that, but we got to respect Jokic, man. We got to respect him for a couple different reasons. And here is why. His ability to make changes on the court like this, like, I never really learned how to snap, but his ability to make a difference on the court is unheard of. And if we're talking peaks, man, he is getting close to like guys like Larry Bird, because this prime is stretching for 1, 2, 3, 4 years now, and he's really been an MVP 3 times now, and it really should have been 4. So if we're really, I mean, Giannis kind of like, but that's just me because I'm a biased Bucks fan. But if we're really looking at it, he should have maybe won 4 MVPs in a row because he's putting up some of the most hyper efficient seasons we have ever seen in basketball because he is an analytics demon. And I know his defense isn't quite there, but AD's going to be able to be AD as long as they're able to put a stop to LeBron with, I don't know who. I mean, who's going to guard him? Aaron Gordon? I still don't think that's going to matter, though, because the age difference. And Jamal Murray is just going to take over because every time the Lakers play a team, they always end up getting a Steph Curry, and I already see Jamal turning into Steph. And then, I mean, who else? There's guys like Zeke Naji. Is he going to make a difference? Christian Braun? I don't know. There's different dudes who are probably just going to go absolutely off in this series on the Nugget side, and the Lakers are going to have some guys who play like cheeks. It's just how it's going to happen. They're going to be buns, and it's going to happen, okay? And now we got the Nuggets problem will be if LeBron and AD are able to slow down Jokic. If they're able, if LeBron did just say on a podcast, he knows how Jokic plays, and, well, if he knows how Jokic plays so well, he should be able to beat him. So we're going to see if he's capping or if he's Lahimothy, because apparently if he knows how to stop down if he knows how to stop Jokic, he's the best player of all time. The highest basketball IQ of all time. We won't be talking about Chris Paul. We won't be talking about Michael Jeffrey Jordan. We won't be talking about any of these guys with high basketball IQs. If he's able to stop Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets spacing, who just won the championship last year and looked better than they did this year, oh, it's raps, man, for that conversation. It should be raps at least, but if it happens and the Lakers win this series, we will be talking about LeBron as the smartest basketball player of all time. I know there's guys like Rondo who you got to respect IQ, and there's guys like Jordan. But come on, if you're somehow able to stop Jokic's dynasty, we might be seeing a bit of a mini dynasty if they win this series. But how would LeBron and AD be able to make that happen? I don't really know. They're going to need to be able to play really great help defense. AD's probably going to be guarding Jokic. I would hopefully guess they keep him on Jokic, not like Christian Wood. I'd be so mad if they put Christian Wood on Jokic. I'm not a Lakers fan. But I want to see LeBron succeed, and if they're able to do this, it would just be a really cool mini storyline to the playoffs. And it would stop Nuggets, who a lot of casual fans don't like watching. So it's going to get viewership up, get ratings up if LeBron wins. And I'm always for that for the NBA. At number 4, we got a series I've been seeing a lot of people hate on, which is Magic and Cavs. And I don't understand why. It's a 4-5 matchup for a reason. They're normally the best. So I don't get the disrespect of these two teams. Maybe because they're not the most fun to watch because they're not offensive teams and they don't shoot the ball well. At least the Magic don't. The Cavs are not that terrible because they got Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. But it's going to be an interesting series because we will see a new team in the NBA playoffs going into the second round for the first time in a while. At least because we know that one of these teams is going to move on. So it kicks off its first game. And is the Cavs offense too much for the Magic? Or is the Magic's defense going to be too much for the Cavs offense? Now the Cavs offense is pretty good, but it isn't the greatest of all time, and their defense is normally how they succeed with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen down low. So is it going to be a defensive battle? Are they all going to have games under 200 points? I mean, I could see that happening, but I think the Magic's defense is going to be a non-factor because they don't really have anyone rather than Jonathan Isaac that I'm like, oh, that man is just a defender. I think Wendell Carter plays good basketball. Paolo Banchero plays good basketball both ways. Franz Wagner, he plays good both ways. I don't know who they're going to be starting at point guard this series, but it's going to matter because they're probably going to be guarding Garland. And I'm guessing, do you put Jalen Suggs or Franz Wagner on Donovan Mitchell? Now, if you don't put Wagner on Mitchell, you're going to have him on Max Strus, I think, or Karis LeVert or Isaac Okoro, whoever they decide to start at that 3 spot. Because we already know the last 4 spots. So, I mean, it just depends who they want to put on Donovan Mitchell. I really don't have a preference. I think it would probably be better if you put Jalen Suggs on him, but I could see Franz because he's a little taller and it might help slow him down, but then you have a little bit less offense for Franz. I don't know. I'm not the coach of the Magic. You can do whatever you want. I don't even know your name, but I should probably know that. Can Donovan Mitchell win a playoff series by himself? We have not seen. We saw him struggle last year against the Knicks. That just was a bad matchup. This is kind of a bad matchup for him, but not really. Just because you're playing a really good defense doesn't mean it's a bad matchup. It's not like it's bad like the Knicks was positionally and play style, but I don't know. If he can win this one by himself, he'll kind of get that Rudy Gobert stuff off his shoulders, He'll be able to brush that off and then go lose the Celtics in the second round. So, they're probably not getting past the second round, whoever wins the series, but it's going to be a great first-round series, and just the storylines are probably going to get out of it. There's going to be a lot of parity. There should be decent parity in this one, so I'm excited to see it. And can the Magic get over the hump of losing in the playoffs in the first round in the Vucevic, Aaron Fournier era, those guys never got past the first round because they weren't very good. They just simply weren't the best team. And I don't believe the Magic have made it out of the first round since Dwight Howard was on the roster, and we all know how old Dwight Howard is. So that man is crazy now, and he was playing in Taiwan. Well, he was a machine in Taiwan. He's just not a guy you want to be able to say, my franchise hasn't won a playoff series since he was here. So that's probably just not really what you want to see from the Magic. And if they're able to get that, they're able to get it off their backs. Once again, like brush that off their shoulders, like Donovan Mitchell winning a playoff series without Gobert. But if they can't, they'll be back. They'll be back. They're very young. They're probably going to be back in the same position they were last year. Then we come to no shooting in this series. Both these teams are not great three-point shooting teams. And that is just going to be something a lot of people probably won't want to see. But I'm excited to see these guys who all play inside, not outside. So it's going to be a bit of a different change of pace between, like, if we go watch the Suns and the Timberwolves, and then we come over here, it's just going to be a lot different. So I'm excited to see what we're getting in this series. But I think the Cavs are probably going to take it easily since they have a little bit more experience than the Magic in the playoffs. At 3, this is my favorite series in the Western Conference, so you already know which one this is. It's going to be Luka versus the Clippers, part 3. I want to talk about the Clippers really quick. I really want to talk about the Clippers because if they lose this series, it's over for them, man. It's Kawhi, it's Paul George era. They just added James Harden, so you're like, why would they get rid of him? Well, they're going to a new stadium next year. They're going to a new logo next year. It's just time for a change in LA, okay? It's time for a bit of a change, and if these guys aren't making them enough money for Steve Ballmer, why keep him around? Because he's paying them so much money right now. It just it's not a good ROI. It's not a very good return on investment, okay? So if this is the end of the Clippers, I won't be surprised. Now, where do I want these guys to go? I don't know. I feel like Harden might be going to Phoenix to team up with KD. I just don't know why. I feel like it's going to happen after they lose in the second round of the Nuggets. I got a feeling, man. I got a feeling that Bradley Beal is going to be gone, and they're going to want to take James Harden's contract because he already knows he can play with Kevin, and they went to a finals before back in like 2012. We know it can happen, but will it? I don't know. Kawhi, I could see him going to Toronto or something. I don't know. Probably not Toronto. He's a big market guy. Maybe San Antonio and go back and play with Wemby, and then PG, maybe go back to Indiana and play with Halliburton or go to Golden State and maybe try and help them in their last dance. I don't know. But Steve Ballmer should not, if they lose this series, he should not even try and like keep this team around unless he's able to go out and get like another star, and he wants to be way over the cap, which I don't think he's going to want to do. So unless he wants to go get Anthony Davis or something huge if LeBron leaves, or like Embiid or somebody, or I don't want to say Trae Young because they got Harden, but He would need to really amp this team up for me to be like, okay, it's fair to keep them together because now they're really the top contender in the West. These teams have history. These teams have a lot of history. We have seen these guys play each other twice already. The third time now. We've seen the Clippers beat Luka, but Luka averaged 40 in the series. We've seen the Luka beat the Clippers, and Luka averaged 40 in that series. And does that mean Luka's going to average 40 this series and beat the Clippers? Or is it going to be the other way around? Now, the Clippers have been a bit cold, and the Mavericks have been a bit hot, so it's kind of like one cold team trying to cool off the hot team. But I think what's going to happen is the hot team just going to extinguish the cold team, and the Mavericks will be moving on to the second round and to the NBA Finals. And I'm just a Luka fanboy, really, at the end of the day. I just don't know if Kawhi is going to be healthy to play this series, and I just don't think PG and Harden are going to be able to be there. Kawhi's able to come in, though, but he might play some good defense. But if PJ Washington's putting out 15 points a game, it's over, it's wraps, and it is on to a new building for LA. They should be kicking off the season against whoever wins the championship. It'll probably be the Celtics, which wouldn't make much sense. So maybe they bring the opening night next year could be like Celtics-Bucks, ring ceremony for the Celtics, and then Clippers-Lakers. Lakers come to their stadium, and they're not in the shadow of Crypto Arena. I don't know. That's just me. That's That's just me. I don't know. That we're getting too far ahead of ourselves. We got to focus on the playoffs before focusing on next season and free agency and the draft. If Randle wasn't hurt, man, I would have picked the Knicks, but he is going to be out the whole series with that surgery. He's hurt, and Embiid's just going to dominate because you can't put OG on him. Mitchell Robinson, Isaiah Hartenstein, I just don't see it exactly working out in their favor, and I do see the Knicks coming out on top pretty easily the 76ers coming out on top pretty easily because they don't need to rely on Jalen Brunson, or they don't need to rely on a guy like the Knicks rely on Jalen Brunson. The 76ers have a good, okay, we got Embiid, he needs to play well. We got Maxey, he can play really good. Tobias Harris needs to play pretty well. They've got a system to this stuff, man. And the Knicks really don't have a system anymore. They just have Jalen Brunson and Dante DiVincenzo, and everybody else has to play pretty good. We just need one guy to make 6 threes, and, well, we're winning games. And recently that guy has been Dante DiVincenzo, but it can be I don't know. It could be Josh Hart. There's a lot of different guys that the Knicks can have fill that role. But with that being said, why I think the 76ers are going to win the series isn't just Julius Randle. It is just Embiid in the playoffs has a bad rap, and I don't think he wants to have that anymore. So I think he's going to go out there, probably give us 35 to 40 a game. Maxey probably going to give us, I think his numbers are going to go down. I might be 25, might be a little bit less. But Embiid's going to try and break those allegations of him not being able to play in the playoffs, and I'd rather play the Knicks in the second round without Julius Randle than the 76ers. But I think they're going to be able to pull this one out in 6. But if it goes to 7, I don't want to see Jalen Brunson and the basketball capital of the world, the mecca of the NBA. I don't want to see him in Madison Square Garden in a Game 7 scenario when he wants to be that guy in New York. I don't think Stephen A. Smith is going to be too happy. They're going to be playing the sad music like they did last year with this.
It's a problem. I can't believe how good Miami is shooting the basketball.
I don't know who added that onto that program, but whoever did is an absolute beast because that just made it so much better. Because there's no way Stephen A. did not want that probably there, but it just made the whole effect much better because the Knicks lost that game. But it's probably going to happen again, and Embiid's going to beat the allegations. And without Jalen Brunson, or without Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson's going to be so dependent, and they're going to need 30 a night from this guy, and I just don't think that's going to happen because I think Jalen Brunson, so on my top 15 players, you would know that I think he's a bit of a fraud. I think he's a bit fraudulent. Why do I say that? Because there's just not a lot of scores on that team. I mean, yes, you got 3-point people. You got OG Anunoby. You got Julius Randle. You got Isaiah Hartenstein. They're just not going to be... he's got the ball in his hands so much more than all these other point guards. I just don't see a reason for him to be a top 10 player in the NBA. I know a lot of people are starting to move him up there, but why is he better than LeBron? Why is he better than AD? Why is he better than D-Book? Why is he better than KD? Why is he better than Tatum? I don't think he's better than any of those guys. I don't even think he's better than Damian Lillard. Maybe I think of Damian too highly after a season like this, but I know he's still got it in his bag, and we'll get to that shortly. But the Knicks are going to be way too dependent on Jalen Brunson for them to win this series. Unless he's putting up 35-plus a night, they're probably going to go home in 6 games, and they'll be packing their bags to Cancun quickly. I almost forgot. This series will tell you a lot about Tyrese Maxey and his number 2. If he's not a good number 2, the 76ers will go out and get someone. If he's not putting up 25-plus a night, they're going to go out and get somebody. Because why wouldn't they? Maybe Bradley Beal could come sneak in here and get rid of Tobias Harris and maybe get him over to LA again. That would be a decent move. Maybe it's a 3-way trade, like the Grayson Allen, Damian Lillard, and DeAndre Ayton move. I could see that happening. I might make a video about that later on after the playoffs are done, depending on how this actually goes. But I could really see that as a possibility of them getting another guy to be a solid number 3, to have a big 3, I'm pretty much saying, because you can't just have a number 1, a questionable number 2, and then really go down to Tobias Harris and all those other dudes there. It's just not the best format for him, but if he plays well, he will lock up that number 2 spot. At number 1, they played each other a lot in the regular season, so it was too good not to put here at number 1. I'm going to have to go Bucks-Pacers. And why would I go Bucks-Pacers? Because their 4-1 record, because of the in-season tournament game that was absolutely amazing when Hallie hit one of these on us. He hit one of those on us. And Dame was like, I wouldn't do that when someone does it back to you. I think that might be coming full circle now because game 1 in Milwaukee, no Giannis, Dame's going for 40. He's going to hit one of these on him. and it's going to be wraps. Halliburton's going to be crumbling. His heart will be broken, and his spirit will be destroyed. But I'm just a biased Bucks fan. What do I know? Okay, what makes this series so great? We have a couple different things. 3 key factors are Giannis's availability. Will he be able to come back by game 3, game 4? Hopefully not game 5, or this series might actually go to the Pacers. If this series goes to the Pacers, I'm not going to be a happy guy after losing the first round the last 2 years and losing in the second round the last 3 years. I just want a conference finals or a finals appearance or a dub. I'd be so happy with the dub. I'd even be happy with a finals appearance. I'd be happy. It just feel like something's coming short, bro. But without Giannis, Dame's going to need to put up 30 a night. That's what I think. Chris Middleton, I don't think we need quite 20 from you because of Malik Beasley, but I'd like 17 plus. Brook, need you to play good D. I need you to be consistent. I need Bobby to start the game out well, and I need Malik Beasley to shoot 45%, 40% from 3. That is what we need. That is the recipe for success without Giannis. When Giannis comes back, he can put up 40 a night like he's been averaging against the Pacers this season. He had that 64-point game without the game ball. Nah, it's wraps. It is wraps if we're able to even win okay, let's say he comes back 3 games, we win 1, we can win the next 3, it might go to 7. But he plays 2, we win 1, we could probably go in 6. We got to play those 2 games in Indiana. I don't think that's going to be too big an issue, since another key factor, Tyrese Halliburton has not been the same guy since the last time we played him. He was averaging like 27 and 12 at a point this season, and ever since like I think the new year came around, it's been like 17 and 9. Still good numbers, but obviously not an absolute superstar that we were seeing earlier this season. So the fact of the matter is, which Halliburton are we gonna get? Are we gonna get the 27 and 12 guy, or are we gonna get the 17 and 9 guy? Because if we get the 17 and 9 guy, it doesn't matter if we have Giannis or not. He can sit out the whole series. We'll win this 1 and 5. But if we get that 27 and 9, might go to 7 games, and it might even go to Indiana. And the last key factor is, can Damian Lillard turn back the clock? If he's able to turn back the clock, this series is over once again. If he's able to put up 30 to 35 without Giannis, it's over for him. But if he's putting up 25, we're not looking in a good scenario even when Giannis comes back. We might be looking at a second round, maybe first round exit again, and we might be looking at a Damian Lillard trade this offseason, since he doesn't seem to like it too much in Milwaukee, doesn't seem too happy, and doesn't seem like he's worth it for us. I'd rather have James Harden on our team and pay him $10 million less than Damian Lillard. I don't know if that actually is the truth of the contract situation, but I'm looking at different point guards. I mean, maybe CJ McCollum, he's going to be washed soon though. I'd like to bring back Drew, but he's now in the opposition, so I really can't see that happening. And there's just not, maybe Darius Garland, but he's kind of on the opposition as well. There's not a lot of guys out there who we could bring in. Hey, let's just bring in Steph. That would never happen. Jordan Poole, I got his jersey, so it already worked for me. But we need Dame to play well this series so he doesn't get mad, doesn't want to leave. He wants to go to Miami. He's probably still. I hope that, and I hope that doesn't happen. He's already in my top 3 Bucks players, probably. Maybe top 5 of all time. I got your jersey. How many guys on the team can I say I have your jersey? It's not a lot. It's definitely not a lot. So I think without that happening, we should, with that happening, with Dame probably coming back, we should probably be able to win this one in, I don't know, 6 games if he comes back to life and he hits one of these on him. Like I said, if he has a 40-point game. But if he doesn't, who knows what can happen. We might need Giannis to save us. I made a video on my main channel. It was a really good video. It was kind of talking about this theme. Go watch it right up here. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you did enjoy. Tell me your rankings down below. And if you made it this far, you might as well subscribe and like the video, because you clearly liked something about it, or you really hated me. So then you can dislike it. It still gives me something in the algorithm. So joke's on you if you didn't like the video and you liked it or disliked it. But yeah, that's it for me. I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Go Bucks.